Section 35. Yes, you are right. We are talking about scientific research. Now, what is scientific research? Sir, scientific research means there is something science and there is something research. Simply study something we will be doing in like finding some new rocket, new technology, like, so that is what scientific research is. It may be in natural sciences, it may be in applied sciences, it may be relating to agriculture, it may be relating to animal husbandry, it may be relating to fisheries. Basically, we talk about evolution of knowledge, creating new knowledge, or whatever is not known to us. It is there, not known. We try to find, that is scientific research basically. Now, in income tax, we don't have to do anything with it. But what we have to do is, if anybody spends money on scientific research, will he get any benefit? The answer is yes. So how can we spend money? So there can be in-house scientific research. Like when COVID affected, the companies like Serum Institute and Bharatella did lot of research in India, yes or no? So they tried to develop vaccine, and that is in-house scientific research. Sometimes what happens, we contribute to the scientific research. So if some outside agencies do scientific research, we pay money to them so that they can undertake research. In IIT Madras, they did lot of research on 5G. So it is a great thing, right? So we pay money to IITs, we pay money to national laboratories, you do research for the society well-being, right? So these two things will be there, in-house, or we are paying to institutions who are engaged in research. Okay, let's start understanding about in-house scientific research. In-house scientific research, the expenditures can be two ways. Think about revenue expenditure, like we pay salaries to research staff, like we purchase some regular materials, right? These are regular revenue expenditures, like electricity bill we pay of the research premises, maybe we may pay rent. So these are all revenue expenditures. So if in-house scientific research is done and the expenditure is revenue and it is incurred after the commencement of business, what I am saying, after the commencement of business, 100% of the amount paid will be allowed as deduction. Okay, shall we go to the next story? The second story says that if 100% amount, sir, if in the exam they give question, what should we do? In the exam they will tell that suppose Serum Institute has incurred 300 crores for developing COVID vaccine. Simply give deduction of 300 crores to Serum Institute. That's it. Okay. Like that, Serum Institute has incurred on paying salaries to research staff. Okay, that is allowed as deduction. That's what they said. So section 35 subsection 1 clause 1 we understood. Now another part is, sometimes you start the business after developing a product. So that means your research is done before the commencement of business. It happens, right? So in that case, what will you do? In that case, the answer is, you have to give deduction when the business starts. Okay, but for how many years we can actually spend the money before commencement of business? There is no limit on it, but income tax says max 3 years, right? Some people do research for 10-20 years and then develop the product. So there is no limit when you will start the business and how many years you put in research. But income tax says that suppose you started the business on a particular date, commenced the business on a particular date. From that date, within the last 3 years, before that date, whatever expenditure, revenue nature you incurred, that is allowed as deduction. Not all revenue expenditures. Only two. One is raw material purchase. Second one, salaries to research staff. What are they? Raw material purchased, and second one is salaries to research staff. But please remember that basics are allowed, allowances are allowed as deduction, but perquisites are not allowed as deduction. So when we do in-house revenue expenditure, if it is after commencement of business, entire amount is allowed as deduction if it is for scientific research. But if it is immediately before the commencement of business in the last 3 years, then only raw material expenditure, only salary to research staff other than perquisite is allowed. So this difference you should be able to remember. Now what about the expenditure incurred before commencement, which is even beyond 3 years? Suppose your business started in 22-23 and you incurred in some expenditure in 2010-11. What to do with that? Income tax says no deduction allowed. So from the date of start of business till past 3 years, that's it, we'll claim deduction, and that too only for raw material and salary to research staff, that too not perquisites. And anything before that period expenditure, no, not allowed. Revenue expenditure or capital expenditure, both are not allowed. Shall we come to capital expenditure? Capital expenditure is explained under section 35 subsection 1 clause 4 and 35 subsection 2. Now what they talk about here? They say any capital expenditure after the commencement of business, fully allowed as deduction. Any capital expenditure incurred within 3 years, immediately before the commencement of business, that is also fully allowed as deduction. But no deduction on land. So what I said, no deduction on land. So in the question they will say that the business purchased land and building for research purpose, cost 5 crores. So will entire 5 crores be allowed as deduction? The answer is no. They will tell that for land we spent 2 crores and balance is for building. So whatever spent on land, no deduction should be allowed. So total expenditure 5 crores, in that 2 crores worth land deducted, 3 crores is the amount of building, and on that we can claim deduction here. Now because this is capital expenditure, can we claim depreciation under section 32? 100% deduction you are claiming here, and you want again deduction under section 32. How can you ask for double deduction? Not possible, right? So that's why only one place you will get the deduction, and you can claim deduction here under section 35 subsection 1 clause 4 read with section 35 subsection 2. So what you will remember about capital expenditure? Anything after commencement of business, any capital expenditure after commencement of business or before commencement but just within 3 years. All capital expenditures allowed as deduction other than land, and when you claim deduction here, no depreciation will be allowed. Clear? Because 100% deduction when you get, your cost will become zero, right? You incurred suppose 300 crores minus deduction 300 crores. So what will become the cost now? What would be the balance? Nothing, zero. On zero, what depreciation you will claim? Nothing. That's what they said. Now when you talk about in-house scientific research, please remember one thing, that in-house scientific research should be related to business. Should be related to business, then only you can claim deduction. If it is not related to business, no, you cannot claim deduction. Okay, great. Now there is a section called as section 35 2AB. Actually this was very important in the past, but this lost its relevance now. But section is there, so I have to teach. Why it lost its relevance, that also I teach. So it talks about basically section 35 2AB I am talking about. Section 35 in bracket 2 then capital A, capital B. Okay. Now what it talks about? If you are engaged in biotechnology, pharmacy or any manufacturing business, not that chiller items under schedule 11. हाँ हम plastic bottle बना रहे जी. No, you cannot claim deduction for very scrap type of things, right? Very small things which are mentioned in 11th schedule. So something should be worthy. If you are into biotechnology business, if you are into pharmacy business, you develop some drug which can cure the problems of humanity. So for such things they are going to give deduction. Now deduction is not given for land and building here. Under 35 2AB, for land and building no deduction. That too, this expenditure, this institution which is trying to claim deduction under 35 2AB should be approved by the Secretary, Department of Science and Industrial Research. Okay, and expenditure should be incurred in the current year. So we were to tell like this when we were to study in the past. It should be a company. Expenditure should be incurred in the current year. Whether it is capital or revenue don't matter, but not land and building, right? So then 100% deduction is given. How much deduction is given? 100% deduction is given. Okay, 100%. Now, sir, in the past sections also 100%, here also 100%. Then why you are teaching this separately to us? Like that you may think. Actually, in the past 35 2AB, the deduction was 200%, 150%. Huge deductions were given in the past. And that's why this was a special section at that time. But now what happened? That 200 came to 150, 150 came to 100. Now it is in line with all the other sections. Sir, then why you are teaching us separately? Arey yaar, suppose when you are solving the problem, now you will write in particulars column whatever is given in the question, and then in the amount column whatever is the amount spent, and in the deduction column what is the amount of deduction to be claimed. But you will also mention the section. Suppose if it is revenue expenditure, 35 subsection 1 clause 1. If it is capital expenditure, 35 subsection 1 clause 4. If it is biotechnology company, 35 subsection 2AB. So you should be in a position to mention, right? Only for that reason I am teaching. No other purpose. Now this section actually demands that you should have some collaborations. You should be ready to do collaborative research as per the departmental needs. You should be ready to share some resources. Sab faltu ki baatein we don't need as of now. Shall I go to the next thing? If suppose research is done, okay, if you are claiming deduction under 35 2AB, then under section 32 you cannot claim deduction. Suppose 35 2AB company is there, biotechnology company is there, and it is claiming deduction under 35 2AB. But for building we cannot claim here, right? So who is stopping you to claim the deduction for building under 35 subsection 1 clause 4 capital expenditure? There you can anyhow claim, right? So don't need to worry. For building here we will not at all get deduction. Arey yaar, why you are worrying? You cannot get under 35 2AB, but you can under 35 subsection 1 clause 4. Wait, for land you cannot get deduction neither there nor here. Okay, now if you are contributing to outside agencies, now actually I love to teach this way. So shall I teach my way first and then let's go to the book? Okay. If you are contributing to any national laboratory or you are contributing to IIT, you are contributing to an approved university, or you are contributing to a Indian company engaged in scientific research whose primary objective is scientific research, or you are contributing to any university, approved university, for research in social and statistical sciences. So scientific research you are doing contribution for that, it's okay. But if you are doing contribution for social and statistical areas, there are also 100% deduction in all these cases. It's as simple as that. Okay, again I am telling you, whether you contribute to national laboratory, IIT, approved university, or any approved college, or any approved research institution which is approved by the central government, or you are contributing to Indian company whose primary object is doing scientific research, or you are contributing to university or institutions who are engaged in social and statistical research. अरे यार IIM को क्यों भूलते हो यार? IIM, Indian Institute of Management, they do research in social sciences, management, social science. If you think about IIT, IISc, they come under the above category. So like this you should be able to differentiate, and 100% deduction is given if you are contributing. Now the best part is, it may be this deduction you can claim irrespective of whether the contribution relates to your business or doesn't relate to your business. Suppose I am a teaching person, I have my own business which is registered, and I take lot of classes, record, sell, so many things I do. Now suppose my company gives any contribution to IIT, donation to IIT, will I get deduction? The answer is yes. Are IIT will do research on 5G, something like that. Is it related to me directly? No. Still I can claim deduction. So for in-house scientific research, to claim deduction, it should be related to your business. But when you are contributing to outside agencies who are engaged in research, there it may not be related to your business, still you can claim the deduction. Are you clear with what I said? Yes. Now, when I am talking about national laboratory, IIT, approved university, then I am talking about section 35, subsection 1, clause 2. Okay. If I am talking about the same, I am talking about the same, please remember, same, but I am contributing for social and statistical, then it is 35 subsection 1, clause 2A. So it will be 2A, II or IIA. II is simply national laboratory, IIT or any university which is approved, but IIA is talking about social and statistical contributions. Now if we think about 35 subsection 2 clause 3, III, here you are contributing to a company engaged in scientific research. In all the cases you are going to get 100% deduction, no need to worry. Are you clear? Thoda sa small change I will do for you. Hey, if it is national laboratory, I did mistake. If it is IIT, if it is approved university, 35 2AA. Okay, 35 2AA. If it is approved university which is approved by the central government, right? If it is approved college, then 35 subsection 1 clause 2. And if it is for social sciences, 2A. If it is Indian company, clause 3. Clear? Thoda sa gadbad tha, but I feel you don't mind. Now we understood about contribution. What is national laboratory? Which is recognized by prescribed authority as national laboratory. That's it. Indian Council for Medical Research, so many are there. Atomic research is there, biotechnology is there, so many are there. So anything which is approved as national laboratory is national laboratory. That's it. From exam perspective, ignore it. Great. Now when you contribute, point number 3 I am talking about, when you contribute, you have to get deduction when you file income tax returns, correct? Now because everything has become online, there are certain requirements and very important amendment, very important, that suppose example I am contributing to IIT. Now what will happen? IIT will fill a form called as 10DB, form called as 10DB. What is the form number? 10DB, and submit to the income tax department by saying Falana person by name Ganesh has contributed to us this much. It will submit to income tax department. Income tax department will update it. Then they will issue a certificate to me. IIT will issue a certificate to me that I have given contribution. These two things, one 10 DB form to be actually given by the receiver, right? I am the donor, IIT is the donee, by the donee to the government, to the income tax department. Income tax department 10 DB form when they get, they will update it and I should get a certificate, right? I have done donation. If these two things are done, then I will get deduction. Now when they submit it to the income tax department in the form 10 DB, automatically it will reflect in my income tax account. When I log in, it will reflect, Ganeshji, you contributed to IIT this much and we are showing this. You can claim the deduction. It is pre-filled now. And by what time the IITs can submit it to income tax department? 31st May of the assessment year. What I said? 31st May of the assessment year. So this is what you should remember. Now, what is approved institute, university or college? If it is approved by central government, that's it. Nothing more than that. Suppose example, you actually contributed and you claimed the deduction. But later on, the approval given by the central government is withdrawn. They have done some frauds, so government withdrawn the approval. It happened with many institutions. Many institutions, I can say. Like you would have heard of PFI, Popular Front of India. So they said we will do something social and statistical, something like that, good for the society, community. Government withdrawn their approval because they were engaged in some criminal activities, right? Terrorist activities. Like that, there are many institutions, time to time, if they are found in wrong areas, definitely government will withdraw. But because you contributed in the past, you got the deduction, whether your deduction will also be withdrawn and you will be asked to pay tax. The answer is no, don't worry. Tension nahi lene ka, theek hai? So once you got the deduction, afterwards, if the withdrawal is, if the approval is withdrawn, doesn't matter. Okay? Okay. Sometimes what happens, your business income is suppose 3 crores and your deduction is suppose 5 crores. Now can you actually claim the deduction? Okay, business income before contribution 3 crores, but you have to deduct 5 crores, right? You cannot. So 3 crores you will deduct and you will make your profit 0. But still that 2 crores I did not claim deduction, right? I contributed 5 crores, so I should get 5 crores as deduction. Government said no need to worry. That 2 crores we will call it as unabsorbed scientific research expenditure, and that you can claim as deduction for unlimited number of years. That means either in the current year or in the next year or in the next year, like that unlimited number of years you have the benefit that you can claim that 2 crores as deduction. Till you exhaust that 2 crores, government is ready to give you deduction. But please remember, not from the salary head. Any other head is okay. Now shall we go to the next thing? Now when you understood that you will definitely claim the deduction, if lateral approval is withdrawn, you will not be affected. Unabsorbed scientific research expenditure, unlimited period, we can continue with the deduction. That's what we discussed, right? Now we have to understand that when we actually sell the capital asset, when we sell the scientific research equipment, so what will happen? Only about capital assets I am talking about. So there are 2 questions which I will ask you. And please write down, don't see these notes will not give you clear picture of what I am saying, but I'll tell you whatever I say will help you to solve the problems like this. So listen carefully. If you sold the scientific research asset without using for any other purpose, then what will you do? Then simply on the sale, you have to either calculate business income or capital gain income. How will you calculate? Now please write down, that would be better for you to understand. It says that your business income will be minimum of the following two. What is your business income? Now I am talking about what we did not use for any other purpose. We used it for scientific research and directly selling it. Please remember like this. Okay, great. Now, if you are selling like that, your business income is minimum of the two. One, the amount of deduction what you claimed. What is the first one? Amount of deduction what you claimed. And what is second one? Second one is sale proceeds minus, please remember, sale proceeds minus, bracket open, cost of the asset minus deduction. Cost of the asset minus deduction. So when you do these two things, you see what is lower of the two. That is your business income. So what is minimum of the two? First one is the deduction you claimed. Second one, sale proceeds minus, now bracket open, cost minus deduction. Once you do cost minus deduction, whatever amount you get, you deduct it from the sales and you will get some amount. Whatever is less, A or B, that you can claim it as deduction. That is considered as business income. Okay. Next thing, capital gain is very simple. Capital gain will arise only if your sale price is more than original cost. If your sale price is more than original cost. Now what is sale price? It's given in the question. What is original cost? Will be given in the question. Deduct it and you can easily calculate capital gains. So no need to worry, no need to take any tension. Now this you have to do if you have sold a scientific research asset without using for any other purpose. For your understanding, I will remind again. Hey, when we do numerical problems, you will practice like this, the way I am telling now. First one, pgbp income is equal to minimum of the two. First one is deductions you already claimed on scientific research asset, that is 100% anyhow. Second one is sale proceeds minus, bracket open, cost of the asset minus deduction claimed. So whatever comes, whichever is lower of the two, that you will be claiming, considering as business income. And capital gain is simply sale consideration. If exceeds original cost, then only capital gain will come. If sale proceeds exceeds original cost, then only capital gain will come. If sale proceeds is less than original cost, no capital gain will come. Okay. And in that case, how to calculate capital gain? If it comes, if it exceeds original cost, sale proceeds exceeds original cost, sale price minus original cost. That's it. Okay, shall we go to the next thing? If suppose scientific research asset is used for another purpose also, then what to do? The answer is simple as that. Simple. Dekho, when you claimed 100% deduction, what will become your cost? Generally nil, correct? So now you are using for scientific research building or plant and machinery. Let's take building as example, easy, for administration purpose. So you used the scientific research asset for any other purpose. Now that building block would be there, na? To that building block you have to add this asset. Now how will you add? Write add purchases and you will add. But what is the amount? Nil. Okay. So there will be some opening block of buildings because there may be many other administrative buildings whose WDV you are calculating regularly. Now this scientific research building you added at nil value. right? This is how you will do the year in which you added the building to or started using the building to for other purposes. But when you sell, again there will be WDV. So opening WDV, add purchases if any, when you sell minus, and you will get the result. And nothing to teach specially because we already did some problems in normal depreciation part, same like that we will be doing. Now I will ask you a question. When we use the building for other administrative purposes, we'll add it as purchases nil. Should we show it in the solutions? The answer is no need to show this in the solutions. Okay, only when you sell you show, because when you actually use it for administrative purposes, when you add it at nil value, doesn't make a change in the amount. अब देखो add purchases 0, will it change anything? Nothing. So that's why we will not show that. But when you sell, either you may get capital gain or you have to calculate depreciation. There you have to put in the solution on paper. This is how you should understand. Many students ask me a question, sir, we claimed we claimed the scientific research as deduction, but the amount was unabsorbed, and later on the company was amalgamated with another company. Sir, will we lose the deduction? The answer is no. The new company, if it maintains the asset like that and use it for scientific research, then that company will be able to use that unabsorbed deduction. Okay, unabsorbed scientific research as deduction. New company can continue to enjoy the benefit. You will not be at loss. Don't worry. Okay, like this you have to understand each and every topic. Have you heard of some company called as Airtel, Jio, Vodafone, Idea? Hey, yes, Adani is also coming into picture. Now, these people have to give telecommunication service to all of us, right? We talk over the call, hello, right? And this actually is a telecommunication service we are going to get. And for that, they have to purchase the license from the government. And when they purchase the license, they pay certain money to government. And when they pay certain money to government, a capital expenditure to government, lump sum amount to government to buy that license, they get a deduction. But you know under which section they will get? That is under section 35 ABB. You don't tell that Abhishek, right? 35 ABB is the section. So let's continue with the understanding. Now generally they have to take the license, that means license approval should come, and second one, payment should be done. These two are important things, license approval and payment. If these two things are done, then automatically they are eligible for claiming the deduction. Now only on the capital expenditure deduction we can claim it here. So when we pay that license fee, that is a capital expenditure, we claim the deduction here. There may be some related revenue expenditure, small expenditures. You cannot claim the revenue expenditure as deduction under section 35 ABB. Arey, don't cry, you can claim it deduction under section 37. अरे यहाँ नहीं मिलेगा तो क्या यार? If you don't get here, you will get it under section 37. So for capital expenditure in relation to purchase of license under section 35 ABB, you will get deduction, but for revenue relating to purchase of license, you will not get deduction under 35 ABB, but you will get deduction under section 37, subsection 1. Okay, they are general deductions. 37 is general deductions. Okay, now how much deduction? When we were in intermediate, if you remember, we were to learn lot of accounting, and when depreciation chapter started, the teachers were to teach us one first method, and that is fixed installment method. Some teachers call it as straight line method also. So here also we'll apply the same method. Suppose example, the license is taken for 10 years. Okay. And you paid 1 crore for taking that telecommunication license. So 10 years, 1 crore. So every year, how much you will claim the deduction? So sir, 1 crore divided by 10 years is equal to 10 lakhs. So every year 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs, like that you will claim the deduction. This is a very simple calculation for calculating the deduction under 35 APP. So you will not get a lump sum deduction in 1 year. You will get deduction in equal installments over the period of license. Okay, no doubt. Now, here also there may be some complications. Sometimes what happens, you got the license in 1 year, but you made the payment in another year. Sometimes what happens, okay, I'll tell you very simple case. You actually got the license in the current year, you paid in the current year. So no problem at all if you paid in lump sum, because entire period you can claim the deduction. Like they said 10 years, then you claim 10 years deduction. What if either the payment is done in advance and you got license later on, or you got license in advance but you made the payment later on? What if you pay the amount in installments? So the rule is very simple. You have to decide the period for which you will claim deduction. It will not be that 10 years period of license for which you can claim deduction. You can claim deduction for the period which I am going to tell you now. So write the start date. What should be your start date? The date of taking license or the date of payment, whichever is later. Date of taking license or the date of payment, whichever is later. So whatever later date is there out of the two, that will be your start period. That year will be your start period. That financial year will be your start period. Okay. And you know the year, financial year in which it ends. And now decide the period based on how many financial years are there. And whatever you paid, if it is in lump sum, divide it by years, and for that period you can get the deduction. So if suppose payment and taking license is in the same year, then same period 10 years, if license is for 10 years. But if payment is done in the second year, then what will happen? Date of taking license in first year, payment in second year, whichever is later. So from second year till 10th year you will get the deduction. Simple as that, right? Suppose sometimes you may do like this, that you can make payment in 3 different installments, 5 different installments. So what you do is, date of license will not change. You add the payment when you made and decide a period for each payment separately. Suppose you made the payment first installment in the year of taking the license, maybe then the whole period 10 years will cover. If you made the payment in second year, then from second to 10th. If you made the payment, third payment in fourth year of license, then 4th to 10th. Like that you have to claim the deduction for that respective amount what you paid. So whatever you paid in the first year, that payment amount divided by total years. You paid something in second year, whatever paid in second year divided by number of years left. You paid something in fourth year, whatever you paid in that year divided by the number of years left. Like this you should calculate the deduction, and nothing difficult about it. But sir, we have to calculate capital gains also, right? I will tell you how to calculate. It is super easy. Okay, let's try to understand. Now, capital gains under telecommunications license is same as capital gains on scientific research asset. If you are selling the whole block, then it is same like sale of scientific research asset. I'll tell you. So every year you will decrease the value of the asset by the amount of deduction, correct? Like you depreciate the asset, WDV comes, same like that. So here we will not use the word WDV, but we will use the word balance amount. Now, if suppose sale consideration is there, balance amount is there, and you sold the entire license, now there will be either loss or there will be either gain. Suppose if there is a loss, you will simply write it as business loss. But suppose if there is a gain, like Docomo was sold, Uninor was sold, Telenor was sold, what they would have got? They would have got loss, right, when they sold the license, right? So they will show it as loss. Now somebody may get gains also. Now you have to remember, whenever you get gains, there are two elements. One is pgbp tax, some income is taxed under pgbp and some is taxed under capital gains. So capital gains is very clear, no doubt about it. You sold entire license. If your sale consideration exceeds original cost of the license, then capital gain arise. Only in that case capital gains arise. And it is very simple, sale price minus original cost, that's it, done. But suppose, how to calculate pgbp income? Array, we'll do numericals and understand it more detail, don't worry. But how will you understand pgbp? Simple, sale price minus bracket open cost minus deduction what you claimed. What I said, sale price minus bracket open cost minus deduction. So cost minus deduction you will do and you will get something. That you deduct from sale price, you will get something. Okay, that amount or the actual deduction what you got, whichever is lower, minimum of the two, you can consider it as business income. Any doubt with this? Suppose if somebody is a candidate like me who don't understand anything as such, you want to cross check whether your answer is right or your answer is wrong. So simply write like this, your balance, that is WDV, then second item write down the original cost, and third item write down the sale price. Now WDV to original cost, the difference, if sale price is more than the WDV and more than original cost I am talking, WDV to sale original cost is your business income, original cost to capital sale price is your capital gain. Suppose example, sale price is less than original cost, then WD balance to sale price is your business income, that's it. This is how you cross check. But how you write? Sir, deduction is minimum of the two. First one is the amount of deduction what you claimed. Second one is the sale price minus bracket open cost minus deduction. Whatever result comes, that and compare, then least is the benefit pgbp income which you will tax. Suppose you sold the part of the block, then what will happen? Then there will also be some balance here also. And when you sold part of the block, and if the sale price is more than the balance, again apply the same rules what I said now, right? And if suppose sale price is less than the balance, then balance minus sale price, whatever balance come, that balance you will depreciate over balance period. Balance minus sale price will get some result, right? Balance is more, sale price is less. So balance minus sale price, whatever balance comes, give depreciation or we can say deduction for balance period by dividing it. Okay. So are you clear with capital gains? Any doubt? To sum up in simple language, if you sold telecommunications license, what will you do? You have to calculate capital gain. When you will calculate? If sale price is more than original cost. So how is the capital gain amount? Sale price minus original cost is capital gain. What is business income? Minimum of the two. First one, deduction claimed. Second one, sale price minus bracket open original cost minus deduction, and you get the result of the second one. First and second, whichever is lower, your business income. If you sold the whole block, do like this. But if suppose you sold part block, simple, no need to worry. If sale price is more than the balance, then same as we studied till now. But if sale price is less than the balance, then balance minus sale, you will get some more balance, something which you did not recover. That divided by balance period, you will claim deduction over the balance period of time. That's it. Suppose example, there is a case of amalgamation. Like Airtel took over Uninor, Telenor, right? So in that case, Telenor claimed deduction for some years, but there were certain more years left. Because Airtel took over the company, Airtel can claim the deduction for the balance period. No problem at all. If Airtel again sells it, they cannot. But till they don't sell, they can. Clear? Any doubt? I don't feel so. Right? Shall we go to the next story? There is similar section called as 35 ABA. Hey, telecommunication license is ABB, which we discussed till now. But 35 ABA is also same, everything same. But it talks about telecommunication spectrum. Telecommunication spectrum. Like you hear about 5G, 4G, 3G, 2G, G, nah, sorry, 4G, 5G, whatever you discuss, 35 ABA, that talks about telecommunication spectrum, balance everything same as I discussed. Now come to section CCA, 35 CCA, rural development, right? If your expenditure is on rural development, you are paying or contributing to somebody engaged in rural development, then how the deduction should be? Now you should pay to such institutions whose object is rural development, whose purpose is rural development. If you are paying to such institutions, then you can claim the deduction. Any doubt about it? Right? Or you may be paying to such institutions who are training personnel. They may be in city, but they are training personals for implementation of rural development programs. Like there is some institution called as Teach for India. So they go in rural areas, they teach children there, they educate the children there. But before sending people who are teachers to that rural area, the Teach for India will conduct training programs for the teachers. How to talk to rural people, how to convince them, what are their general myths, how to burst that myths, how to make them more educated, how to bring them to the society. So much of training is given. So that training institutions also, if we contribute to them, we can get deduction. Third thing, National Fund for Rural Development. Fourth thing, National Urban Poverty Eradication Fund. Bapre. National Urban Poverty Eradication Fund. And third one is National Fund for Rural Development. If you contribute to any of the four, 100% deduction, whatever you paid, you will get deduction. Under section 35 CCA, that you have to remember. Suppose that institution had recognition when you paid and you got the deduction. Later on, that institution's recognition was cancelled. Will the deduction what you claimed be reversed and you will be asked to pay tax again? The answer is no, not at all. Once you got the deduction, if the institution is not recognized doesn't matter, your deduction will continue. Okay? Clear? Very good. 35 CCA we discussed, that are you contributing to an institution whose object is rural development, empowering rural India? Second one, or training personnel for implementation of rural development programs, or is it a national fund for rural development, or is it national urban poverty eradication fund? If you are contributing to any of this, 100% deduction you can claim, don't need to think of. Now, shall I go to the next story? The next story is about CCC, Agriculture Extension Project. You are an individual or you are a company still, or any type of institution, but are you contributing for agriculture extension projects? Then you can get 100% deduction under section 35 CCC. Suppose you are a company and you are engaged in skill development. You are engaged in skill development. You are engaged in skill development. Then in that case, if you are engaged in skill development and such a company contributes to some other institutions, 100% deduction under section 35 CCD. Please remember that 35 CCD 100% deduction only to Indian companies. But 35 CCC agriculture extension project, anybody can get the deduction if invest in agriculture extension projects. Okay, great. I feel you understood. Now, amortization of preliminary expenses under section 35D. Under section 35D. Now, every now and then, many people feel that we should start a business. 99.99% of the people just dream, don't do anything. But there may be 0.1% who think, who act on it. Now, if you start a new business, what you have to do? Sir, first will the business work or not? We have to study. So you will do some market surveys, feasibility studies, you will prepare a project report, right? If you have to engage in some technical stuff, then you will maybe doing some engineering studies. So these are all preliminary expenditures. So before I teach you amortization of preliminary expenses, are you okay if I teach what is preliminary expense? So preliminary expenditure may be, because the definition is very specific, you cannot go beyond this. Preliminary expenditure is preparing project report, preparing feasibility report, doing market survey or other surveys as required, or engineering services for starting a business. These are all preliminary expenditure. Sometimes you may have to incur legal expenditures, like you have to start a company, for that preparing a memorandum, preparing articles of association, you have to prepare DIN for the directors or DSC for the directors, right? So these are also preliminary expenditures. Sometimes what happens, that you have to actually issue the shares to the public. For that also you have to prepare the prospectus, for the drafting, printing charges, that are also preliminary expenditures. You register as a company, then if you register as a company, for that registration fees are there, that is also preliminary expenses. So registration fees in case of company, or memorandum articles in case of company, right, or prospectus related expenditures for company, these are only for company. Now legal charges may be for any type of organization, whether it is company or maybe a partnership firm, LLP, whatever, or any other prescribed expenditure. So we discussed that what is preliminary expenditure. It may be market survey, engineering, market survey, feasibility, or it may be something like project report, engineering service. It is a preliminary expenditure. Legal charges, whatever you incur for drafting memorandum articles, that are also preliminary expenses. Prospectus related expenditure to issue shares, that is also preliminary expenditure, right? Like this, you have to remember what is preliminary expenses. Total list is there, you can read through it. Now what to do? Okay, preliminary expenses are there. For that, deduction has to be given under section 35. That's okay. 35D, that's okay. But who will claim the deduction? Only Indian companies or residents in India. Only Indian companies or residents in India. So if it is a company SSE, Indian company will get the deduction. Can foreign company get the deduction? The answer is no. Sir, foreign company resident in India? Still no. Right? So if it is company, only Indian company. Any other SSE, is it resident? Then yes, you can claim the deduction. How much deduction? So I'll tell you maximum deduction which can be given. क्या बोलूंगा मैं आपको? Maximum deduction. So first thing, you have to do the total of preliminary expenses. So when you solve the problem, in the problem they will give you preliminary expenses. Do the total in step 1. Then in step 2, decide what is maximum deduction. Suppose you are a non-corporate assessee. You are not a company. Then 5% of the cost of project. Cost of project is nothing but cost of fixed asset. ज़्यादा टेंशन नहीं लेना, ठीक है? Okay. And if you are a corporate assessee, then additional benefit is given. Either 5% of cost of project or 5% of capital expenditure. Now you can take anything. So let us take higher of the two, because you are finding out maximum deduction, right? So for company SSC, what you should remember, 5% of cost of project, 5% of capital expenditure, whichever is higher, that is your maximum deduction for 35D. Non-corporate SSC, only 5% of cost of project. If you are an individual starting new business, then 5% of cost of project. If you are a company, 5% of cost of project or 5% of capital expenditure, whichever is higher. Okay. Now, let's continue. Now, how much deduction is given? So, whatever is written 1 by 5, you can see, but you will get confused. Let me tell you as per the solution pattern. So, first step in the solution, what we did? We calculated total preliminary expenditures. And the list we have, so we can just calculate accordingly. Second step is deciding maximum deduction. Done. Third step, actual amount of deduction is step 1, that is actual preliminary expenses, or step 2, that is maximum deduction, whichever is lower. Now you got the amount on which deduction can be claimed. But is deduction given in one step or in 1 year itself? No, in 5 equal installment. Over 5 years period it is given. So that's why divided by 5. So how will you solve a problem if it is given? Simple. First, decide what is preliminary expenses. Do the total. Second step, maximum deduction. Third step, compare step 1, step 2, whichever is lower. Fourth step, divided by 5. That's it. And you are through with the problem. Now, I said cost of project is simply cost of fixed assets. Now, when you see the screen, you say, sir, cost of project they give new business, existing business. What is this, sir? अरे यार क्यों टेंशन लेते हो, मैं हूं ना. Simple. If it is new business, on 31st March, what are your fixed assets? They will check. Okay? कोई doubt? No doubt. Suppose if it is existing business, last year 31st March there were some fixed assets. Now you actually started a new branch, new area of business, right? So your fixed assets would have increased, right? So what are that new assets which are added? Only that is considered as cost of project in case of existing. In case of new business, it is totally new. That's why total fixed assets, whatever are there, we took on the 31st March. But existing business, only the new fixed assets will take the cost of that. Same way with capital expenditure. Now when I talk about capital expenditure, it is share capital, that is equity and preference. All reserves are also considered, no problem at all. Loans also you can take, debentures also you can take. But securities premium is not capital expenditure. Only for this section, you remember securities premium is not capital expenditure. So you will not consider it as capital expenditure. Okay, that's it. If you do this, you will be able to find what is total cost of project, what is cost of capital expenditure, then 5%, all that you can do. I feel you understood what I tried to convey. Is it clear to all what I said? I feel yes. Any doubts are there, you can always ping me on my WhatsApp. I'll be very happy to help you out. Okay.